Hello and welcome to the Connected Yoga Teacher Live Show. I'm your host, Shannon Crow. Today we're going to dive in and talk about what to include on your yoga website. So let me just back this story up a little bit. When I first started teaching yoga, websites were a lot more difficult. That was over 10 years ago. And thankfully, my brother actually knew how to build a website, like build with code, but we've come a long way to now. And I'm sure he really appreciates that I know how to make my own website because I used to call him and say, "Hey Conrad, can you move this thing around or change this one thing for my website?" And I had zero clue of how a website was actually put together. So we spent a lot of long conversations on the phone. Fast forward a little bit, and my partner Sean actually taught me how to create and update a website. And I'm really appreciative to him because he didn't just say, "Here, I'll do it for you," which most days would have been easier than teaching me how to do it myself. And from that, I've learned to continue to update my website. And I do help some people, a small amount of people, to create a website. Very limited in that time because I spend most of my time consulting. So if you're in the right spot today, if you have an existing website and you want to give it a refresh, or if you don't have a website and you really don't know where to start. I am happy to answer questions. So if you guys can type in the comments if you can hear me okay and where you're tuning in from today, that would be amazing. And we'll just start to dive into the content for today's show. So first off, the choices for a website are really paralyzing. So I just want to let you know that right now, even if you thought, okay, what colors should I have on my website? If I could give one tip, really start to simplify this and work with someone that can help you to um, really start to cut out the choices that don't matter. So we're going to go into what does really matter for your website today. And colors is nice. Hi, Carissa. Great to hear you. Um, I love it that you're out running. Let me know how the sound is. You're out running but listening. That is so amazing. It's like you're using this as a podcast. I wonder if anyone else is doing that. Okay. It is a beautiful day here, and so I hope the sun is out shining where you are, Carissa, as well. Someone else is tuning in. Let me know where you're tuning in from and if you can hear me okay. So my my struggle with my own website was that I'm a perfectionist, so I like to have things done right, and I like to feel like, okay, it's all wrapped up and it's done. And let's just let that go for a minute. So even I had someone contact me, thank you, Sue, that my website was not up to date and done. And this happens not done perfectly. There was a little glitch on there, and this happens all the time. So just so you guys know, I always feel like my website is not complete and not done. And I know that other people feel the same way. I watch people rebrand and refresh their website all the time. I help people with it as well. And we'll get into kind of if you're going to look at a refresh, what to make sure to look at, because there is some really important stuff that you can do as a refresh. And also know that you're going to feel like, okay, now I learned something else and I want to refresh it again. So it's never complete. Um, so if I were to say choosing colors, let's just say for today that we're going to choose black and white. White is the background, black is the text, and that's it. So if you're stuck on colors and logo, um, there is an example of a totally simple website. I can share it if you guys are interested. That is just literally text and white background, black text, white background, and very effective website. So that's possible. So simple is really best. And think of this in terms of if you walked into a yoga space and you saw like all the props all over because people were like, yeah, we have so many props. Like, look at here, they are all over the space ready for you. It feels, for me anyway, I like a clear space. So imagine what it's like to have a clear space in a yoga space, instead of having everything out in front. And so this is the way it is with your home page. That's where we're going to start today. And sometimes this is the hardest page. So if you want, you can start with the easiest page, which is the contact page, and we're going to get into that. But for today, we're just going to do a few notes on the home page. So the most effective tool that you can use on your website are the words that you have to share. So if you're struggling with that, get someone to help you with the wording, but I have a few tools today that are going to help to get into that wording. The wording can be via video, audio, or written word. And I would say for sure have written word on there, even if you have a video, to have similar words in your written word, and to make it really short, sweet, and simple. Because you have just a very short window of time. Someone will go to your homepage quickly. That's the page that is most visited. And then you have, 3 seconds to catch their attention. And either they're gonna feel like, oh, yeah, this is what I was looking for, or no, this is not at all what I was looking for. Not to put any pressure there. So today we're also going to go through some action steps for everyone. So if you have an existing website and you want to do a refresh, or if you don't have a website yet, these action steps are going to be kind of similar. So the homepage, we want to see what is really effective, and we want to be able to easily update our entire site. The homepage, because everyone has a short attention span, we want to let people know really quickly who we are, what we offer, what we do, questions like that. We want people to get that information really fast. So as a yoga teacher, you want somewhere on the front page to be yoga, so that when people are coming to your site, they know, oh, this is a yoga website. And you want it to be really clear. Again, they have a short attention span. They've never seen you before. It's kind of that first impression. What do you want them to get out of that? I want you to let go also of thinking that you need amazing graphics. For those of you who do graphic design, awesome. You can continue to do that. But for everyone else, know that simple is okay, and you don't have to have all the fancy gadgets on your website to make it really effective. What else did I want to go over today? I'd like you to take a look at and get some ideas for websites. So even if you have an existing idea, this is your action step. Look at websites that really draw you in and that you really like, and start to define what it is that you like about them. You can take an exact website if you think, okay, I really like that website. Guaranteed it is going to look very different when you put your information into it. So you could take a website that you really resonate with, or you feel like that would really resonate with the people that you serve, and make it into your own. The first way that you do that, I feel, is to draw it out. Literally draw it out. Take a white piece of paper. Some people like a massive piece of paper, but at least a blank sheet of white paper, and just put little squares, boxes where you want things. So like this text first, and then a photo, and da-da-da. Make sure to include images on your homepage. Okay, so start to do that. That's the one action plan for your homepage, is to look for sites that you're drawn to and keep a little document of these sites. Maybe there's one that really catches your attention, and if so, draw out your information with the exact template. Trust me, you guys, it will not look the same once you get your own stuff in there. Okay, so the About page, and I feel like this is usually the trickiest one next to the home page. So the home page has its own challenges because it's the first page that people go to. But the About page, I feel like in the yoga world, could really use an improve, and my site included. So there's a little trick to the About page, and I want to get into a little bit with that with you. I also have 2 tools that I'm going to share with you in the show notes. So when you go to the show notes on the connectedyogateacher.com, you're going to go to live show, and you'll find this show. Now, it's not ready for you right at this instant because I'm recording it live, then I have to upload the video to YouTube, then I need to embed that video, but it's ready to go, so it'll be either ready today or tomorrow, depending on how long that takes me. So you're going to get 2 PDFs in that, and these are my gift to you. They are things that I do work through with people when I do one-on-one consultation with websites. So if you feel like, you know what, I did it and it's a struggle, just know that a lot of people are able to do this work when we talk one-on-one, when it's more like a conversation than a written essay. So the first one is define your ideal yoga student, and there's a worksheet with that. Those of you who did the niche work, we dove into this, the workshop, and then I'm going to give you an About Me page checklist, like a PDF. And both of these, if you already signed up for our newsletter, most likely you'll probably get them. But actually, you know what? I'm going to leave it that I'll just send it to you if you sign up for the email in that. So you'll see it in the show notes. That seems confusing now. Sorry, you guys. You'll see the link for that in the show notes of the 2 giveaways, the 2 PDF giveaways that I'm going to have ready for you guys. And I feel like that work is really what makes the About Me page. Now there's a question, and if you guys have questions, please post them in the comments as we go. But some of the questions are, should I do this in first person or third person? That's really up to you. I find that I usually connect to a website myself personally when it's in first person, when I feel like that person has written this note and it's sitting there for me. So some things to think about, again, is who are you serving? And I want you to think about what's the one main struggle that this yoga student has. So for instance, if you're teaching chair yoga, and the one main struggle is that these people are seeing regular yoga classes all the time and they can't get down onto the floor to participate, then you want to make that really clear in your About page and your home page. And the About page, what I most often see, not just in the yoga world, but most businesses, is like this bio of here's all of my life accomplishments. Mine is included in this, you guys, so don't feel bad. This is you. And here's a list of my trainings. Now, a couple of points with this. It's great to list your trainings somewhere to show, oh yeah, she has a lot of credibility, like she actually took a chair yoga program, so I want to study with her. But the About page is really about your person who you're serving. So unless the story is something that they resonate with, that speaks to them on a level of this is what they need, it is not helping to draw them into your yoga class. So this is why these 2 elements, the defining your ideal yoga student, is really important. And then you're going to get a lot more points on how to really do an About Me page. So it's 2 pages and it's really in depth, and I will get it all ready for you guys. Yeah, and really remember, if there's one thing that you can remember, it's more about them. So how can you serve them? So the action step with this is to define what is that one main struggle. So let's use the example again about the chair yoga. And then list 3 to 5 things, meaning emotions or physical things that your students are feeling. So if one of those things is, they feel uncomfortable going to a regular class that isn't done with chairs, or if they feel like they can't get down on the floor, those are great things to put in the About Me page. And you might be thinking, well, I thought the About Me page was all about me. It's not. So you can talk about you in terms of why you're really excited to teach chair yoga. So you might say, your personal story with it, that you started to see that it's really important. You feel that it's really important that students can start to work with the mobility muscles so that they can get down onto the floor and back up again. Let's think of another example. Maybe you're a yoga teacher that does Thai yoga massage. So why do you do that? What are you serving in your student? So you might say, when you're like your one feeling that people might be having is that they're overwhelmed by their to-do list and they need some downtime for themselves. So you start to add that wording into your About Me page. I hope that makes sense. If you have questions about that, let me know. Okay. I think that's all of my notes on that one. Sorry, you guys, I have tons of sticky notes here so that I don't forget anything. So that's 2 pages. That was the home page and the about page. And the about page, also one other note on that, that can be about your business and it can also be about you. Now, just to show you that I don't have all of my ducks in a row with all of my websites, the Connected Yoga Teacher page, I don't know if anyone has noticed, does not have an about page at all. So I'm working on it, but I'm using these things and I'm actually using my own worksheets to do it that I'm sending for you guys. Okay, so the next one is yoga, and that's the next page. Now, with this might also be like services or products. So if you're not teaching yoga, if you're doing something else and that's your website, then you'll change this. But this is really focused on for yoga teachers. So we're going to use yoga in this one. And there are some questions here to ask yourself. So I want you to draw out your calendar in some way. You can do this on paper, you can type it out. And I want you to list all of your classes, your retreats, everything that's happening that your students might want to know about. So even if, say, there's something like you're offering a private class, like include all of that stuff on your calendar so you can start to map it out and see what that looks like. There are ways to get your calendar really easy. Is Google Calendar allows you to embed your calendar. Anyone can do that if you have an existing website. You can create a calendar that's specific to your yoga. Only put your yoga things on there that you want shared with other people. So obviously if you're doing a private yoga session, you don't want people's names on there, but you might just put private booking or you might leave those ones off. But definitely your weekly classes on there for sure. So you want to ask yourself questions like, where are the classes? Often I'll go to a yoga website and I don't even know what country the person is in. So it's important to put the location of the class, like really put the location so that people aren't going on there thinking like, I'd like to go to this class, but actually it's in Australia and I live in Canada. When is the yoga class? Who is who would benefit from this yoga class? Who should attend? What is the class about? Why should they attend? How can they sign up and how can they learn more? And then the prices as well. So all of that information. This is the basic information even if you're putting together a poster. So the action step for this one of this yoga is to map out your schedule, get your class descriptions. That's the other one. So say you have a gentle class. What defines your gentle class? So for me, one huge definition of my gentle class is that it's for anyone, and there are no downward dogs or advanced yoga poses in my gentle class. So I think it's great to carve out this what makes your class unique. So maybe you have a strength building class and you want to let people know like what that's like. If they will feel comfortable there or not, they should be able to figure that out from the description. Okay, so then write all of this out and see if you can fit it on one page so that you can put this information on your website. And is it up to date? If you already have an existing website, is that stuff up to date? That's one of the hardest things to keep up to date. We put a new class on or a new session, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh my gosh, my website is out of date. So it's important to be able to update your own website. That's one big thing when I help people with their websites. I really make sure that they can update their own website. Number 4 is, I'm going to call this one articles, but some people call it resources, some people call it a blog. I'd love to tell you my thoughts on blog and article. So I feel like I used to have a blog and it was more like an online journal for me. And blog has been a word that's been around for a long time, and so is the word article. So just for a moment, sit with the idea of what does an article mean to you? What does blog mean to you? And are you writing articles or blogs? For myself, I feel like I write articles now. And I feel like that's what I resonate most with, a message that feels like for instance, I'm going to put together, or I've already put together the article that will go along with this video, and that's the 5 things to have on your yoga website. And I think what often we struggle with is kind of being the expert in this. So you don't have to know everything to write an article. Lots of people are writing articles. Um, do your best with it, and really look at, can I write something that feels like an article to me? Now, if you feel more comfortable with a blog, like this is how my class went and I used this poem and it's more like a journal entry, then go for it. But if you're trying to set yourself up in kind of the world of being the expert in your niche, I would highly suggest looking at writing articles and having article as your title in your navigation menu bar as one of the pages. So this is optional. If you feel like, oh my gosh, I do not want to have anything like this, this might be different in terms of, instead it might be the live show. So on the Connected Yoga Teacher, the articles are in with the live shows and the podcasts. So it might be different for you. You might have video instead of articles. But this is kind of your resources. So if you're thinking that you want to do this, the most important thing of articles, video, any content that you create is consistency. Consistency is the most important. So the Monday live show, you guys all know that it's coming out. The podcast, same thing. And I was doing a blog, a weekly blog, and because of the podcast and this, I'm still getting those articles in, but I'm actually doing 2 a week for yoga teachers. So, and you guys can count on them and you know that they're going to be there and ready for you. I think that's the most important even for your yoga students. So the way to develop this muscle is to start to kind of build that bank of articles and see if you like doing it or not. Because if you don't like doing it, you know, if I go to a website and it says blog or articles and I click on it and it's like 8 months old or 2 years old, then I kind of feel like, where'd this teacher go? So you need to look at, is that something that you can keep up with? Even if you have it on there, you know, I write a monthly article, then people know, okay, it's going to come out once a month. So the action step for this, for anyone, if you're thinking about you want to write articles or create content in some way, is to block off this time in your calendar to put the notes together to create the content and set a weekly time. So I would suggest weekly. You could do it once every 2 weeks, but even if it's weekly and you write half an article or a quarter of an article, I would suggest 1 article. And to see if you can build up a bank of 6 things. So that way you try it out before you post them all out there and then are like, this isn't for me. So try it before you put it live. Okay, so we've gone through 4, and the last one is the contact page. And I feel like this one's easy peasy. It's like a business card. You can put your phone number on there, your email address. You can put a place where they can send you an email right from your contact page. Also social media buttons. Now, the action step that I'd like you to take for that is to just compile your contact information if you don't already have it on there, or check your page if you do have it. And then if you have social media links on there, make sure that you check them. So one that I rarely update or go on is LinkedIn. I do have one, and because I have it, then it's really important that I do update it when it's on my contact page, so that you can take a little look through. Maybe you have all of the other things on your website, but you're like, oh yeah, my social media links. It's great to have them on there. A couple other tips. So I would say avoid coming soon pages. These really annoy me when I go to a website, and I made a point of not ever putting them on any websites that I create. It is so tempting. Say that you are taking a teacher training or some other course and you know that you want to start offering it, but you're not yet. Or you've already completed that course and you want to offer it, but you don't have the information put together. Just wait. The most annoying thing is going and seeing like, oh, there will be this event, but actually there's no information on it. If you're trying to put something together and you have all of the information and you're like, we need 6 people to run this and here are some possibilities, that's a little bit different. But if it's something that you don't even have the information for, please don't put like that someone can click that they can get a Thai yoga massage with you, but then it says coming soon. Then they're like, does not serve me. So let's really think about the user experience. So start with the information that you do have. Now, just so you guys know, your website could be as simple as what you would put on a business card. Maybe you have a logo, maybe you don't. Maybe it's a photo of you and seriously just your contact information. There are website companies that offer just a one-page website. I'd love to hear from some of you guys if you're using specific website tools. As I said, I really have my system set out, and I'll tell you right now what that sort of is. So I like to use WordPress as my content management system. I love the Divi theme. It's the theme that I use with every single website that I have created for other yoga teachers and for myself. Right now I use the host, which is the people who kind of host all of my stuff. My hosting company is Fat Cow. I have looked at moving everything to Bluehost or to a Canadian company called Rebel. That's still sitting in the back of my mind. Fat Cow and Bluehost are owned by the same company. I have a list of plugins that I use with every website, and the people who I do consulting with, I just basically hand that over, give that information to you. Let's see what other tips I have. I've looked at some amazing Squarespace websites. If you guys have Squarespace websites, please post them in the links here. If you have other websites that you'd like to share in the comments, we'd love to see an example. We also have a thread going on in the Connected Yoga Teacher private Facebook group. So if you're a yoga teacher, you can join us. Just look for the group, the Connected Yoga Teacher, and we're sharing our websites right now. And we may look at doing like a little group call to see if some people would like some help with websites and to give us some accountability to refresh and update our websites. Oh yes, one other tip that I really wanted to share with you guys today, and I will put a link in the show notes for this. There's a program, it's like slipped my mind of what it's called. I think it's called Peak User Testing. And this, if your website, you feel like, okay, I've got it refreshed and it's updated and it's ready to go, you can actually submit it to this company and they'll do a 5-minute review of your website. And it's a total stranger and you get to watch the video of them clicking through. This has been huge for my own website work. I just feel like I had a website for myself and I posted it in there and it was really eye-opening to see that the user was confused of like, what is this? What does this person offer? And to see how, simplicity, clarity right away is really important on the homepage. Okay, I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, make sure to post them. Whether you're watching the live video or the replay, it's great to have your questions in here. If you're watching from the website, make sure you post them in the comments down below, and I try and get to those comments and answer them, even if it's an older video. If you are looking at setting up a website consultation with me, if you've never worked with me before, it's 90 minutes. If you have worked with me before and I know your business, then it's a 60-minute consultation, or as long as it kind of takes. So that is all on my shannoncrow.com website, but I'm working at moving the Work With Me button over to the connectedyogateacher.com. See, my website is always being updated. Okay, you guys, take care. Have a wonderful Monday. It is sunny and beautiful here, and I'm looking forward to when the kids get home from school and we can go outside and just put our hands in the mud in the garden and dig away. So, Wendy, great to see you here. I'm glad this was so helpful. I know that you're looking at doing your website. And if you have any questions, let me know. You can post them here. I can answer them here live for you or later. Um, One other thing that I would add to this is to really make your words in your on your website in your own tone, your own relatable tone. So even if you have an editor helping you, put your words in your words. I know that sounds repetitive, but it's true. If someone can go to your website and feel like, oh, that's how they talk, or oh, that's how they talk, like I appreciate that, and let your personality shine through in your website. Okay, you guys, and if you have tips for me on my websites, I would love to hear them. I always reach out to someone if I go to click on a link and then it doesn't go somewhere. I usually reach out to that person and just say, just to let you know, user experience was like this. So I'd appreciate it for you guys as well. Okay, take care. Have a wonderful week, you guys. See you next week. Yeah, we're going to be, oh my gosh, I've forgotten what we're doing. I'll post it in the comments what it's either Shavasana or restless leg syndrome. Those are both on our April schedule for the live show. Oh, and you guys listening to the podcast as well, one last reminder, the 3 episodes here this past Saturday, the next Saturday, and the next one is like a 3-part mini series on yoga for pelvic health. If you guys are wanting to learn more, we're also haven't started our online course and there are still a few spots open. That starts in 10 days, April the 20th, and I'm really excited. We've got 12 topics in that course, and there's a lot. My biggest problem is just to see how much I can fit in that 8 hours of course. So you can find all the information on that on theconnectedyogateacher.com under courses. Okay, take care, you guys. Final goodbye. Hard to leave, you guys. Take care.